Every time Sea of Thieves brings out a massive update, anniversary update, captaincy, pirate's life, they're always loved, welcomed, and celebrated by the community. But once released, the player base, including myself, suddenly begin to realize that although these new features are very welcomed, they're still running off essentially the same game environment. And that often bores you as quickly as it excited you. Season 9 is a great example of how core game changes actually freshen up the game for everyone. Although Season 9 had a slower start compared to other seasons, it's in fact now maintaining the most amount of players in any season that has come before. It's small little changes to the game's mechanics and quality of life tweaks that keep people playing, not huge and elaborate new missions or tall tale seasons. So with that in mind, I thought I'd put together a bunch of quality of life changes I'd like to see coming to the game, to expand on the core game mechanics, and not massive overhauls to the game world. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and perhaps write a few ideas of your own. So first and foremost, the Devil's Roar Fort. Completely and utterly useless. Its selling point is one thing: a chest of rage. And considering you can acquire a chest of rage from Ashen Lords, or washed up on shorelines and occasionally found in flotsams, it's really not a huge selling point. Not at all. And the Ashen loot that resides within is not much different to the payout of a regular fort. The gold payout, for example, compared to a regular fort is only 13,000 gold difference, which in today's economy in Sea of Thieves is essentially trash. Couple that with the fact that you have to sail across the entire map to get there, only for it likely to despawn, and once there, if you make it, have to deal with volcanoes spawn camping you. It's often left alone, either a server hop or wait for it to despawn in most cases. Here's how you make people go there. Ashen Athena chest. It's just an Ashen Athena chest. Something as simple as a singular Ashen Athena chest in replacement of that worthless Rage chest would make all the boys come to the yard. Furthermore, who remembers the Cruise of Rage updates that introduced the Rage chest? All world events at that time had a red glow to them. Put this red glowy skull at the Devil's Roar Fort, signifying to the entire server that an Ashen Athena chest is up for grabs, and you actually have a reason to go to the Devil's Roar Fort. It just makes sense. Speaking of world events, ever gone looking for a specific world event, only to fail seeing it because an island is in the way or a bloody storm? Why not have active world events show on your ship's map? So when you log in, it's just a simple cruise over to the map on your ship and have a look at what kind of spice the server is offering. To add to this, you know how the Fort of Fortune makes that noise that sounds like a horse farting into a tuba? Why not have a noise for every world event that instantly tells everyone on the server what's on offer? Here's an example of the noises that could be used. It just makes sense. Phantom Forts and Siren Shrines or Treasuries. Now, although these can all be a low-yield cash grab, it's often left me perplexed as to why they don't expand on them in a rather simple manner. I mean, ideally, I'd love forts, for example, to actually be conquested and controlled by the crew. So, for example, you could stash all your loot in there and take the key on board, and the only person who has the key can open the vault. But that's far too much work for a quality of life update. How about this instead? Occasionally, alongside the regular world events, a shrine, a treasury, or a phantom fort will display an icon on the map, and this icon now tells everyone on the server that this activity now has lucrative loot inside, on par with the loot you get at a regular world event. No difference at all to the difficulty or the gameplay, just really nice loot. Shrines, for example, once you've done all the commendations, there really is no point in running them ever again, not when a treasury or a phantom fort can be done in half the time and gain you twice the amount of loot. Creating choke points to these mini world events will make them active again and give you a purpose to revisit them. It just makes sense. Reaper booming rowboats. Bring them back, have them spawn randomly with a low chance of success on every server. It just makes sense. The quest board. Don't get me started on this waste of space. Could have potentially been something amazing, but is let down by the fact that the quests only appear on that server, and servers constantly migrate. So the chances are when you posted a quest and logged off, the server probably migrated and shut down. You'll get a notification that someone did your quest, but you also get that same notification if the server shut down. So it's likely the latter. No one uses them. Completely redundant feature. That said though, they could come in very useful for bottle quests. Whether you want them or not, in your playtime you'll likely pick up a handful of them by accident, especially when you're quickly grabbing supplies from barrels. They completely clog up your quest wheel, even with the new changes to the quest radial. How about letting players sell their bottle quests to the quest board for a small payout, 350 to 500 gold, gifted to the player for posting a bottle quest to the quest board, giving people an incentive to actually post things there for two reasons: a nice extra bit of gold at the end of a play session, or just a great way to clear up your quest radial, the result of which means more quests on the quest board on every server and likely some pretty good loot to be found, rather than someone burying a butter dish and posting it for terrible renown boosts. It just makes sense. Doubloons! Now I know you can sell doubloons for gold to Lorena at any time you wish, but how about a much more fluid system? Anything you can buy in the game has two methods of payment: gold and doubloons, allowing the player to choose which currency they wish to part with. It just makes sense. It kind of makes sense, sort of. PvE servers. It just makes— Shut up!